Hey everyone, how are you doing? Joe Marin here from MobileCupOfJoe.com, ready to talk about what we've seen so far at this year's Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, Nevada. So this year's convention so far, we've seen new processing chip lines from the folks over at NVIDIA and Qualcomm, two brand new mobile smartphones that look to make a pretty big impact as the year progresses, and an entire brand new mobile operating system that's set to come out in 2014. All that coming up in this episode of Mobile Cup of Joe. But guys, before we go any further, please go ahead and grab that coffee cup, fill it up, bring it over, and sit on down and take a swig for your Mobile Cup of Joe. Alright, so to kick things off, we're going to be talking about NVIDIA. So NVIDIA recently announced their latest addition to their Tegra line of mobile processors called Tegra 4. Tegra 4, similar to Tegra 3, is a quad-core processing CPU with an additional fifth core for handling day-to-day tasks such as sending and receiving text messages and phone calls and emails. But impressively though, it will have a 74-core GPU for delivering some pretty damn impressive graphics. Also at NVIDIA's press conference was Project Shield, their latest new gaming console. So it is a Xbox 360-like controller with a screen that flips up running pure Android. So you can stream music and video content as well as play games. Now, you can flip up this screen and it's a 5-inch screen running Android, and you can stream this to your TV via HDMI cable or Steam Big Picture mode. You can play Android games, NVIDIA games from the Tegra Zone, or Steam games via Big Picture. It actually looks like a really cool idea. It looks to cost around $400. It will not be called Project Shield. The name will change eventually when it releases sometime later this year. Now, even more impressive, in my opinion anyways, is Qualcomm's latest processors for this year. So Qualcomm's looking to start 2013 right by announcing their line of processors for the year. So no longer will we be calling them the Qualcomm Snapdragon S1, S2, S3, S4, S Pro. They're going to be called the Qualcomm Snapdragon 200, 400, 600, and 800. The 600 and the 800 are the two most powerful smartphones in the line. The 600 will have a 40% increase over the Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 Pro and is set to come out sometime in Q2 of 2013 to mobile devices. Now, the most powerful one, the 800, is just freaking incredible. Looking to have, or at least according to Qualcomm, a 75% increase over the S4 Pro in just performance overall. With the new Crate CPUs though, they can be clocked to 2.3 gigahertz per core. 2.3 gigahertz. The highest we're seeing right now is around 1.7, 2 gigahertz at the most. 2.3 gigahertz per core though, quad core, that is going to be freaking incredible for processing day-to-day tasks and apps and games. Also have a brand new GPU with the Adreno 330, with the previous before this being the 320 Adreno graphics processing unit. So NVIDIA and Qualcomm both had some impressive announcements for their new processors for 2013. Personally, I have to say that Qualcomm's looks a little bit more impressive. S4 and S4 Pro are a bit faster than Tegra 3 at this point. That's not saying Tegra 4 will be slow compared to Qualcomm's new processing line, but it's just from my personal experience, I've had better luck with Qualcomm. Either way though, new processing chips from NVIDIA's Tegra and Qualcomm Snapdragon can be a great year for mobile processing as the year 2013 progresses. Now, there are actually two smartphones that caught my attention at this year's CES. There's actually a considerable lack of smartphones from big name companies such as Samsung or LG and other companies like that. They're most likely saving their handsets for Mobile World Congress in Barcelona later this year in February, or IFA in Berlin as the year progresses. Those are just more worldwide conventions and allows them to get their name out there a little bit more. A couple smartphones though actually caught my attention the most. First of that being the ZTE Grand S. Now if you follow us on Mobile Cup of Joe, if you follow our website, or any tech journalism team on the web, the ZTE Grand S should be no strange name to you. It's been showing up numerous times before CES actually started, but it got an official unveiling, and it actually looks pretty impressive. So the ZTE Grand S will have a glorious 5-inch Full HD 1080p display with 1920 by 1080 pixel resolution, of a 1.7 gigahertz quad-core Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 Pro processor, 2 gigabytes of RAM, 16 gigs of internal storage with a micro SD card slot to expand it. You also have a 13 megapixel camera with LED flash and autofocus, and a 2 megapixel camera on the front Also running on this is Android 4.1 Jelly Bean, not the latest version of Android, but still a very great one with Project Butter. One of the downsides though to the ZTE Grand S is that it only has a 1780 mAh battery, which is considerably low compared to other smartphones that are out. We're seeing as high as 3000 mAh batteries and at least in the 2000s for milliamp hours. So 1780 is looking to be a little low, and this thing is also running 4G LTE, and LTE has been known to kind of take down battery life of phones, especially with a 5-inch screen and HD display. It doesn't look like this thing should have a very long battery life at all if you just consider the specs of the phone. Now this is not official, this is just what we think, because when you just consider everything how it stacks up, it doesn't look like it's going to be so great for the battery. Now it does have an impressive 6.8mm thin frame, which makes this the world's thinnest Full HD smartphone. So this is actually ZTE's first segue into making more premier and higher quality products. ZTE has made, really since they ever started, kind of low to mid-range budget smartphones. So this is kind of their segue and entry into making more premium and high quality products, and I'm in full favor of this. ZTE does not make terrible phones, they're just not high quality, and they look to really make a change with this and make a change for the better with their name, with the ZTE Grand S. No set dates though for availability or release date or pricing, but stay tuned because we will be sure to announce that when we hear it from ZTE. Now the other phone that caught my attention was from Sony. Sony actually announced two new phones, the Sony Xperia Z and the ZL. The Z though is their new flagship device, and it looks damn impressive. Similar to the ZTE Grand S, it'll have a 5-inch screen with a full 1920 by 1080p Full HD resolution, a 1.5 GHz quad-core Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 Pro processor, 2 GB of RAM, have another 13 megapixel camera with LED flash on the back, running Android 4.1 Jelly Bean again, and this thing also looks really incredible. One of the biggest things though that this has over the ZTE Grand S is that it is water and dirt and wind resistant. So having a high quality flagship smartphone like this also being that durable is really great. Usually with water and wind resistant smartphones like this, they're kind of rugged, they don't look really pretty, and they don't perform the best. But seeing a water and wind and all that resistant on a flagship high quality device looks really great. If you listen to sources like CNET or Techno Buffalo or other tech journalism sites that are at CES, they say that it feels like the most well-polished and the best crafted smartphone Sony has ever produced. So that's really saying something. It looks pretty impressive. So the Sony Xperia Z and the ZTE Grand S look to be two of the, or at least I think, two of the hottest smartphones at this year's convention, but look forward to Mobile World Congress in next February for smartphones from the larger names of companies. Now in our last story of the day, we were talking about something that is actually really incredible to me. We're talking about Ubuntu. Now, this Ubuntu, as a lot of you may know, is a Linux operating system that you can put onto your Windows computer to run Ubuntu. Is a operating system, a desktop operating system, but they showed off their brand new mobile operating system. Now this is not Ubuntu for Android, which is a custom ROM you can get for your Android device that runs a desktop version of Ubuntu. This is a full-fledged version of Ubuntu for your mobile phone, and it looks very awesome. It's being developed by Canonical. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Canonical is a parent partnership company with Linux, and they are crafting the Ubuntu mobile operating system. Now, one of the coolest things with Ubuntu mobile operating system is that it runs HTML5 based applications. Now, if you know about new mobile operating systems, you know that it takes a long time for applications to come out to the phone, and high quality applications when you want. Take a look at Microsoft's Windows Phone, for example. Came out a couple years ago, and it still does not have a great selection of mobile applications. Actually, one of the biggest things that holds it back from becoming as popular as it really should be. So with HTML5 based applications though, this means that with the Ubuntu, as soon as it comes out, you'll be able to run applications and download applications such as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube right out of the box. Because since they're HTML5 based, you don't have to wait for them to release to an app store for a developer to develop them. You'll have access to all these popular media consumption sites straight out of the box as soon as Ubuntu releases, which is really great and should help this smartphone hit the ground running and go really far. We have never seen a phone run HTML5 based apps before, and it looks really incredible. Another one of the coolest things with the Ubuntu mobile OS is that you can actually plug this into a monitor and you will get a full-fledged desktop version of Ubuntu, which you can install applications, browse the web, check email, stream video, and everything. It's sort of like a thumb drive or a live CD that you can put into your computer to run Ubuntu. Just plug your Ubuntu smartphone into the computer, a monitor though, you've got a full Ubuntu desktop computer right there. So there's no word yet though on when this will be, what the price will be like, what carriers it will come to. It's only in a pre-alpha stage right now, but Canonical is saying that they hope to get the Ubuntu mobile operating system out to consumers by Q1 of 2014. So we still have an entire year to wait. But if you've not seen this yet, it looks really incredible. If you watch any of the footage that tech journalism sites at CES have recorded of it, if you see that it looks a little bit laggy, but consider it's still in pre-alpha stage, and for being in pre-alpha stage, it looks incredibly smooth. And I cannot wait to see what the final version of this turns out to be. Because even though we have a crowded mobile OS market, we have Apple's iOS, Google's Android, Microsoft's Windows Phone, RIM's soon to be BlackBerry 10 coming out soon this year, and then maybe Ubuntu mobile OS by Canonical. Is there room though? I personally think there is. I love having all this choice for what mobile operating system I want to use. You've got iOS, you want simplicity. You get Android for customization. Windows Phone for simplicity, customization, and being reinvented around you. You've got BlackBerry 10 for getting things done, and then Ubuntu. I'm not sure how well it's going to take off though. I don't know if you guys feel that there's enough room in the market for another entire mobile operating system, so I actually want you to answer that in the comments below. Do you think that there's room for the Ubuntu mobile OS when it releases in 2014, or do you think that there are more than enough choices with Windows Phone, Android, and iOS and BlackBerry 10 in the market? So that's all we have for this episode of Mobile Cup of Joe. If you like the video, please go ahead and hit the like button. If you like it, it takes 1 second to do so. It really helps support the show. And if you want to show your support towards the show even more, go ahead and hit the subscribe button at the top of your screen for more Mobile Cup of Joe videos. And you all know we're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. And don't forget to check out our website at www.mobilecupofjoe.com for your latest mobile tech news. All the stories we talked about in this episode can be found on our website. And I'm your host, Joe Marin. I'm Joe Marin from mobilecupofjoe.com. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. Coming up in this episode of Mobile Cup of Joe. But guys, before we go any further, please go ahead and grab that coffee cup, fill it up, bring it over, and nope, that's not gonna work. It's over at NVIDIA and Qualcomm. Two brand new little fudge nuggets.